Really, y'all don't know this, y'all in danger, I'm a threat. I'm a gamble with your life, cause you know that it's a bet. You know I ain't letting up, my foot is on your neck. Take my word for it, it's a promise and a threat. Really, y'all don't know this, y'all in danger, I'm a threat. I'm a gamble with your life, cause you know that it's a bet. You know I ain't letting up, my foot is on your neck. Take my word for it, it's a promise and a threat.
What's up, YouTube? It is your guy, Hector, on another episode of the Hot Stove Report on this Wednesday, December 6th. Like always, I'm joined by one of my compañeros, my guy, Halal from Backstage Baseball, one half of the Rookies podcast. Halal, how you feeling today, brother?
I'm doing great. We are in the waiting zone. We've been in the waiting zone for a while, just waiting and waiting for that one tweet. We've seen finalized. We've seen finalizing every word that has the prefixes of finalized and all that stuff. We've heard it. We're waiting for that done deal coming. So I'm really excited because I was looking at the clock. I'm like, please wait from between 6 and 7. Give me it. I want to be on the show for it. So really excited to be here. And fortunately, they've held off, hopefully, and we'll get some news soon.
You know, I've been trying to find different languages and how to say the word finalize. So you got finalize, final, fiend. Those are like 3 different ways you can say it, but I'm right there with you, Halal. I'm ready for this to be over. It seems like everything is lining up to give us a perfect early Christmas or Hanukkah surprise for you guys out there. But before we continue, I want to shout out the chat. My friend Mariela Ramirez is in the building. Mariela, how you doing? My guy Nathan from the NNR Hour. Nathan, how you doing? Salute, salute, salute. We got Aiden DeValley in the building. My guy Yankee Kyle. Razil the Greats in the building. Jacob Petruzzi. Salute, salute, salute. 3 capital S's. We appreciate all of you guys being in the chat. Mikey Mazza and the 4 Train Express. How are you doing? If you guys can, if you're watching this for the first time, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, because we got a special one today. We got 2 guests that are backstage that I'm super excited to bring up to have this conversation. I just want to make sure they're all good. Jimmy, Dylan, let me get a thumbs up. Make sure you guys are good to come up. Just make sure, let me get a thumbs up. Okay, so both of them is good. I'm going to bring up my guy first, Mr. Jimmy Randazzo. Jimmy, how you doing, big fella?
I'm good. Nightingale, I think, just tweeted that Cashman and Boone are leaving winter meetings without a deal finalized, and people are freaking out now. Everybody, keep your composure. Keep your composure. That's all I have to say, because I'm seeing it right now. People are already losing their minds. Jack Curry is the source.
Yes.
We listen to Jack Curry. So that's all I have to say. I just was on Twitter, and you guys were doing a great job. I was listening.
And Jack Curry we trust. I'm right there with you, Jimmy. I'm going to bring up my next guest to join us as well. One part of Fireside Yankees, my guy Dylan Becker. Dylan, big fella, how you doing?
Doing good, man. Doing good.
Dylan,
thanks for having me come on.
Nice. No, I appreciate you coming on, Dylan, taking time out. And I just want to give you guys your kudos. I'm not sure if you or Ryan or any of the other guys from Fireside, you guys were listening to the Brandon Tierney show the other day, but he shouted you guys out. He gave you guys your credit.
Really?
He reported one of your tweets that you reported on Twitter from 2 days ago, and he giving you guys your kudos. One thing I like about BT is that he shouts out a lot of the independent content creators. So when I was hearing the show and heard you guys Fireside Yankees, I felt like, oh, look, my friends are getting shout out on WFAN. So shout out to you guys. You guys do amazing work over there. Before we jump into any conversations, right? I know it's not official, so I don't want to jump the gun. But when it comes to Brian Cashman, Jimmy, I was saying this earlier on your spaces that you was hosting. This is the
Don't be surprised.
And I know it's a bit too early, but shout out to Brian Cashman yesterday getting the Alex Verdugo deal done without trading Gleyber Torres, because those were the rumors over the past few weeks when it comes to Alex Verdugo. We got rid of Greg Weissert. Richard Fitz was somebody that I really liked looking at the farm. But listen, Verdugo's here. Juan Soto he's booking his Uber ride to Yankee Stadium soon. It's not official, but I'm gonna start off with you, Halal. We're gonna talk about Verdugo, talk about the rumors with Soto, and let's throw it over to Jimmy and Dylan to get their take on it as well. Go ahead, Halal.
All right, first I want to say how much of an honor it is to be on this panel with all three of you guys, really just up and coming, getting there right on the ledge to be incredible Yankees content creators. So it's incredible to be here first on Verdugo and Soto. So when the Verdugo news dropped, obviously the thought that crossed everyone's mind was, wait a second, does this mean that Soto's out of the picture? A left-handed bat, perfect for the outfield. That's the thought that crossed everyone's mind. No, it turns out that he's just an extra bat waiting for when we get Juan Soto. So that's something that obviously was reassuring to everyone, hearing right after that Juan Soto's coming. So I think Alex Verdugo got covered up a little, so I want to give him a little more attention. He's a great guy. He's the perfect guy. He has that fierce energy that Yankee Stadium is going to feed off of, that they're going to love. He's that contact bat that everyone's asking for, that DJ LeMahieu 2019-2020 bat as a left-handed hitter. That's great. Juan Soto, another guy, gets on base he averages about 400 on base percentage each year. Even in 2 years ago when he had his worst batting average season at like 240 or whatever, he still had an on base percentage of over 400. So both intriguing names, and a guy, Trent Grisham, coming in late outfield situations. It's all three of these guys I think are huge benefits. And yeah, I really am excited to see this finally pull through.
Yeah, great points. Jimmy, I'm going to throw it over to you. Let's get your take on the Verdugo trade from yesterday and the rumblings that are going on right now with Mr. Juan Pacheco Soto.
Yeah, I guess, let's address the elephant in the room that is Juan Soto first. I'm still processing this as you guys are right now. Everything is going on. Everything is so fluid. I really, really, really have faith in Jack Curry. I work in the same building as him. Listen, he's a legend. He doesn't mince words, and that is where I'm at right now. Maybe we have to make Jack Curry t-shirts because I trust him that much. And if it does, but I said 100% is when Mickey Mouse, aka ESPN, aka Jeff Passan, tweets out the deal's done. Once that we put on the parade, we're not popping champagne because we don't do that till we win the World Series. But we'll drink some high noon, some beers, whatever everybody wants to drink. If you're 21, of course. And but Jack Curry's the guy. So you can listen to me, or you can listen to this guy or that guy or the other guy, or with Bob Nightingale and a lot of people that are in the building with the same people. And again, I've broken news before because I've been in that seat there, and rain delays. I broke little things like that. But a major detail where I'm not pressing buttons and texting them, I am not pressing the buttons on that information. And for Jack to come out and to be so brass, it makes me feel really good and warm inside. And my guess is 7:36 because they left. If it happens on Friday on my birthday, whatever, it's done. I feel it. I felt it. I feel it. So I trust Jack Curry. I really do.
Yeah. Yeah, with the reports out there, no, all good. With the reports out there, I think that the deal is basically almost done. They're just waiting to go through the medicals because let's be real, the pitchers in Major League Baseball, they get injured just like that. Especially Michael King, who had his elbow blow up on him a couple of seasons ago. So if you're San Diego, you want to check everything and make sure every medical report is good, not just one. You want to get a second, third, maybe even a fourth opinion if you're San Diego, just to be smart.
Yeah, and if San Diego wants Clark Schmidt instead of Michael King, I'm for it as well. So, I think you're poison. You want a guy under arbitration till 2028 who's 27 years old in Clark Schmidt, or do you want, Michael King, who's probably the better pitcher, who you only have for 2 years? You take that risk either way, especially with the fourth or fifth starter.
100%. And I'm right there with you. Let's get the t-shirts. WWJCD. What would Jack Curry do? I'm going to throw it over to you, Dylan, my guy. And same question. What's your thoughts from the Verdugo news that came out yesterday and the rumblings that's going on right now?
Right. So I'll start with the Verdugo thing actually, because that's something that's already happened and is kind of official already. I don't know how I feel about it because yes, Verdugo has shown at times to be a solid contact hitter and has shown to be good at Yankee Stadium and stuff. But I don't know. This trade to me comes off like as if we kind of just acquired a lefty baiter with less fielding, and that may come off like a bit of a hot take. But a 98 WRC plus last year doesn't really entice me a whole lot. I was a little bit confused when they got the trade. I wasn't necessarily like upset that they got Verdugo. They got him, and I was kind of just like, okay, not the worst thing I've ever seen. I've seen worse trades. Trust me, I've seen worse. Cough, cough, Josh Donaldson. But overall though, I wasn't like too upset about it. I was just a little bit confused because I kind of was like, okay, I hope this isn't who we were going after and that we just bailed on Soto. Thankfully, that wasn't the case, and that they've been clearly pushing very hard to get Soto. And to kind of just pivot towards that, I really hope that they reach the finish line on that with the trade talks, because I really want Soto, man. I really want him. I really want Soto.
Yeah.
And if we got to give up, like you said, if we got to give up Clark Schmidt instead of Michael King, okay, it's Juan Soto. How can we take that down?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If they're refusing to do that trade because of that, then that's a problem on them. So that's at least the way I see it. I know I didn't have as much to say as Jimmy and stuff, but you guys kind of carried the reins there. And I will also add too, Jack Curry we trust. In Jack Curry we trust. It is all on Jack Curry. It is the number one source to follow. 100%.
No, 100%. And like you said, when it comes to Clark Smith or Michael King, pick your poison, whoever you want to take. I'm not going to stop a Juan Soto deal from going through because I want to hold on to either of them, right? Like I said earlier on different shows, when it comes to Michael King, I think he's a phenomenal major league pitcher. He may be a phenomenal teammate as well. He's not the next Roy Halladay, right? So this is not going to be a piece that stopped me from getting Juan Soto. Michael King's about to be 30 this season. This is not a spring chicken. He's not 24, 25. He's about to be 30 years old. So get the deal done when it comes to Sotito. Jimmy, I want to throw it over to you. Go ahead, brother.
Hector, no, like 100% everything you're saying, but we also have to wait because the deal's not done. So, Michael King is the best. Michael King is the best. He really is, though. He's an 89 overall. I did the numbers. I translated. I have my own thing. He's an 89 overall. I only rate Yankees players, but that's what I'm giving him. He's a top 10 reliever in baseball. And obviously, he's probably like top 40 starting pitchers, top 50-ish. But he was one of the top 20 starting pitchers in baseball for 9 starts last year. So, but I get what you're saying, but we're still waiting until that Jeff. He's the best pitcher in baseball. That's how I see it. Because
100%. And guys, I put here in the chat. Hold on, let me put it up. If you guys can, make sure you guys go to the Jimmy Randazzo show on YouTube. Subscribe to my guy Jimmy Randazzo. As well, subscribe to Fireside Yankees, Fireside Knicks. They do amazing work over there. I'm gonna bring up one more person to join us in the conversation, and it's another Yankee YouTuber that I have so much respect for, my guy Jason from 161 River Ave. Mr. The River Ave Mafia's in the building. Jason, how you feeling?
Pretty good. How you guys doing out there?
I'm good, brother. Right? I'm good, brother. Jacob Petruzzi just posted in the chat. This is our channel member that always loves to give us directly from Twitter, but per passing on ESPN TV, the deal will be reached by the end of day today. They're just going through medicals. So to Jimmy's point, we only drop the news when Mr. Passon drops the news.
That's right.
I want to see the tweet in writing.
Facts. Jason, I want to throw it over to you. I was on your channel earlier. Again, that was a great stream. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah,
but
of course.
The rumblings with the Juan Soto and everything. What's your takes of it with all the rumors that are coming out? Go ahead. And then throw it over to Halal to get his take also.
Well, I think it's the move that obviously makes the most sense. I said this yesterday too, that the drop-off between him and the next bat is way bigger than the drop-off between Yamamoto and the next pitcher. So he, to me, was the obvious fit for the Yankees, and they needed to make another blockbuster type offensive addition here, and especially one that's left-handed. And the fact is they're with Grisham, who's going to be in this trade. They've added 3 left-handed bats, so 3, and it also makes more sense now that it's probably increases the chance that they're likely going to move Torres for pitching because they're going to need to replenish some of the pitching they're trading away. So, and Torres and possibly Everson Pereira or one of the outfielders, him or Florial, because now that they've added Verdugo and Grisham, or they're going to be adding these guys, it makes it easier to move one of those outfield prospects. So,
Yeah,
and they brought in Oscar Gonzalez too.
Especially with the rumors that came out earlier with the Miami Marlins looking to trade all the pitching that they have. You know, it's been rumors for the past few years. Gleyber Torres, he's a piece that the Miami Marlins been trying to get for a minute. So if we could get Luzardo or Rodriguez or one of those extra pitchers from Miami, it would just help us replenish what we had to give up in order to get Juan Soto. So it makes the perfect sense. Halal, I want to throw it over to you. What's your takes when it comes to that? And you know what Jason was talking about.
All right, I've been saving up all my thoughts for the past couple minutes.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
I'm going to unload a bunch of stuff here. Let me take you back to Verdugo for a second. With all this stuff, think about the package that we gave up for him. Because we really didn't give up much. Greg Weezer was going up and down. From the line I like to use a lot is he probably had a Subway membership card already. He was going back and forth so much from AAA to the majors. So that's the line I like to use with Verdugo. I'm fine with that trade personally because we didn't have to give up Torres. Instead, we can use Torres to go out and get another reliever just like you mentioned there. So that's something I want to tackle over there. When it comes to Michael King, he's a guy. Yeah. Go for it, Jimmy.
Well, we're talking about – how can we talk about trading Gleyber Torres?
Because we need relievers.
Soto's on a 1-year contract, and Gleyber's on a 1-year contract. That means, and you have, you're going for it. Gleyber Torres is another, I feel like that's 2 steps backwards. Like, Gleyber Torres in 2025, I don't think he's going to be a Yankee. But I think next year he's going to be a Yankee.
So how do you go out and get relievers? Who's going to be your bullpen then?
You need a starting second baseman before you need a reliever. I don't know. That's just how I personally feel, especially with, when you had guys like Franchi Cordero, Oswaldo Cabrera, Florial, other guys who are nice guys, but they don't deserve to be on the Yankees starting for the Yankees. I think you worry about a bullpen later. I don't. How do you trade? If they trade Gleyber Torres, other than in a Soto deal, I would be baffled. And I wouldn't understand what the direction. I felt like Soto, then you trade your guys, then you get Yamamoto, or you get Snell, but I just don't see them trading Gleyber Torres. But he might not be a Yankee in 2025. I'm sorry for hijacking the thing, but I don't see that happening.
All good. Go ahead, Halal. Go finish your take, and I'll jump in after you. Go ahead.
More money on extending Soto 2025 and maybe even Yamamoto if we end up going over there. But with King, my hot take that I'm going to throw out there right now is that I think coming into next year, if he plays with the Padres, I wouldn't be shocked if he starts off the season looking like a Cy Young pitcher. And then unfortunately, something's going to happen to his shoulder because he's not built up enough to go a full season as a starting pitcher. We see the potential that he has. And I think if the Padres played smart with him, he's going to be one of the best pitchers in the game, undoubtedly. When it comes to Yoshinobu Yamamoto, I think he's a guy that I think he said they're meeting with him on Monday. I'm curious what that means. I think from what I take out of it, I think what a lot of people take out of it is they're still going to be interested after Juan Soto to go out and make another big move, which is extremely intriguing.
Yeah, there's been reports, and I'm gonna bring it up real quick talking about Yamamoto, right? They brought it up. SNY put it out there. The Yankees are willing to raise their payroll over $300 million for the first time in order to possibly add Juan Soto and Yoshinobu Yamamoto. And this is per Andy Martino. So, Jimmy, I'll throw it over to you. What's your take on that? And then get Dylan in on the conversation as well.
Yeah, I agree with the statement 100%. Andy Martino does a good job. I had a little tip with him because I was a Volpe guy. And, sometimes his reports, I think he's really good at SNY, and I think he does a great job. But I trust Jack Hurry. And this is what they were saying at Yes Network, basically verbatim. So, yeah, that's a correct take overall. I'm just so consumed right now with this Soto trade. But yeah, Yamamoto is the guy, and they will spend money for guys in Asia, and they will spend for guys on 1-year deals because the ticket sales and the jersey sales are going to be out of control, even if they go over that tax threshold.
Yeah, because I think honestly, after the backlash that both Hal Steinbrenner and Brian Cashman got after last year, they got to understand, if they want to win back the fan base after going 82-80, this is what you have to do. You got to exceed that payroll, because both Juan Soto and Yamamoto, they're going to pay for themselves when it comes to merchandising and when it comes to ticket sales. There's a reason that 44% of the season ticket holders haven't renewed their season tickets, because they're waiting to see what the Yankees do before they open up their pockets and just give them a check, right? So as soon as it's announced that Yamamoto and Soto is with the Yankees, season ticket sale prices are going to go up and they're going to be sold out real quick. Dylan, throw it over to you. When it comes to the Yamamoto and the payroll, what's your take on that, brother?
Right. So, I'm happy to at least see that they're willing to do this, because we've seen in the years past they've kind of been hesitant to make these big money moves. And, after last season, I think it's been kind of a no-brainer to kind of just, go after these guys. These are the guys you need to win ball games. Juan Soto, Yamamoto, they fit needs that you need on the team. And they're the guys that you need to go after. You don't want, your rival teams, whether it's in your own division or, outside of it even, to go after them and then become better than you, and the Yankees don't get better. That's what you don't want. And if the Yankees can, or they're willing to go over this payroll to get Yamamoto, that's massive. That's massive. And I will be really happy if they will be able to land Soto and Yamamoto. The guys over at Fireside Yankees like to call the two of them Yamasoto.
Yes.
I think that'd be very, very cool if they can manage to land both, because I was honestly, coming into the offseason, I thought it would have been kind of a pipe dream to land both Soto and Yamamoto. I kind of thought it was going to be kind of a one or the other situation. Right now, though, it looks possible they could land both, and that would be amazing. That'd be amazing. We haven't seen an offseason like that in quite some time, so I'll be really excited to see that happen.
Listen, a Juan Soto Mofongo and a Yoshinobu Yamamoto sushi roll package, sign me up. I'm buying both of those when I'm in the stadium. Like I said, they're going to pay for themselves. Jason, throw it over to you. I know we touched on it earlier on your channel. Also, we got 63 people in the building. If you guys can, smack that like button for your boys as we continue the conversation. And if you're watching this for the first time, hit the subscribe button. It helps us out when it comes to growing the channel and getting more Yankee fans in on the conversation. But Jason, it's not my money. It's not your money. How do you feel about the Yankees, or the rumors that the Yankees are willing to exceed that 300 million threshold? Go ahead, Jay. Oh, you're muted, brother. You're muted, brother.
That's a good thing. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. That's a good thing that they're willing to do it. But at the same time, this is where moving, and Torres is going to get moved. Okay, he's going to get moved, and and again, he's the only guy that has trade value on the team. And I'll ask you guys to say, I asked the same at the panel earlier on my channel. What part of Torres' offense can't be replaced? Can anybody answer that?
Jimmy, you want to go?
RBI production, batting over 260.
We got the Verdugo.
That was Verdugo. And
Verdugo.
Yeah,
Soto.
but they
Soto.
needed more. They had 3 good bats
Yeah.
all year.
Yeah, I get it.
Their 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hitters, because of so many injuries, produce under the Mendoza line last year. I personally don't see it. I will tweet at you if you are right 1,000%, and give you credit. I just don't see that happening.
There's no need for credit and all this stuff. I mean, are they going to extend Torres to a big contract next year? No. So what sense does it make? And I'll say this too: if you replace his offense with Soto, you haven't added offense; you just replaced it. Okay, it's a better offense, but you've also added Grisham now, and you've also added Verdugo. So you've added offensive production, okay? Now, you've also gotten significantly better in defense. So run production is one way to win games, so is run prevention. They've gotten better there, okay? And in their starting outfield and their backup outfield. So there's a couple different ways that they've improved. It's not always offense. It's not always, stats. Do they matter? Yes, but there's so many other ways. But again, and it depends on what you move Torres for. If you move him for relief pitching, where they need now, okay, because they're going to have to replenish some of the guys they gave up, and they're not giving up relievers, but they're also they're going to be without a couple other guys too. So now, with that said, it makes, in my opinion, again, it makes a lot of sense, and I do think he's going to get moved because I don't think they're going to give him a $160 million contract or more than that in the offseason.
Oh, man down. Baby just took a dive on the Legos. But no, I get what you're saying when it comes to both takes are spot on, Jimmy and Jason. For me, the only way I would entertain trading Gleyber Torres is because it opens up a spot for Peraza, right? And this is the one guy that us Yankee fans been wanting to see get average or regular playing time and to be productive on the field, is to get time for Oswald Peraza. Like I said, there's been rumors not only this past season, but the season before when it comes to Gleyber Torres and the Miami Marlins. One thing people got to remember when it comes to Miami, they have a high influx of Cuban nationals in Miami, but they also are the #1 concentration for Venezuelans in America. And what is Gleyber Torres? He's from Venezuela. So they're trying to get someone that the fan base couldn't relate to so they could sell tickets at the end of the day. So I could see them trying to go out there and get Gleyber Torres. Also, it gives us some back pieces to the end of our rotation if we can't re-sign Frankie Montas, if Nestor Cortez elbow or shoulder starts barking, if Carlos Rodon regresses, or if even Yamamoto can't make that easy transition to the major leagues, right? So it's not, you can never have enough pitching, like they always say, right? Hello?
Yeah, I think it's obvious that pitching wins October, and that's something that obviously the Texas Rangers didn't defend that this past year, but it's something you need. Every Yankee fan saw you need a closer, you need a consistent closer, you need that back end of the bullpen set in play, and you know half these guys are going to get injured, all this stuff's going to happen, and you're going to need to have people there to back them up. That's something that's definitely necessary. When it comes to a standpoint of Torres, yeah, I think the hard truth is get value out of him while you still could, rather than just letting him slide into free agency. I think you brought up Frankie Montas real quick. I think he's a guy that he's a low-key guy that obviously didn't have a great first day with the Yankees, but when if we can get him to less contract this year, he's again like an ace. When he's on his A game, he's a great pitcher. And if the Yankees can take advantage of that, have Matt Blake work on him once he's fully healthy, don't push him farther than he could go. Really just work on him and get him back to the position that he could be in, and you can get a cheap ace right there.
Yeah, I want to ask both Jimmy and Dylan. I'll start with Jimmy first and then Dylan and work my way to Jason. Jimmy, how do you feel about Josh Hader? Right, I know that's a name that a lot of Yankee fans have been throwing out there as a possible closer. Myself personally, I was rubbed the wrong way when it comes to Hader. When he didn't want to pitch 4 outs to get a save, I felt when it comes to my closer, I need a closer that could give me 4 to 6 outs. I know some people may not care about that, but Jimmy, what's your thoughts on Hader? And you think will he be a fit in New York? Could he handle the pressure?
Listen, I would love another Dragon that threw 100 out there, whether it's 3 innings or not. Of course. But, the bullpen, I mean, we're talking about the bullpen. I don't have a problem with the bullpen right now, personally. Do we have a guy that we're paying $11 million? I don't have a problem with these names. Clay Holmes, Jonathan Loizaga, Tommy Kahnle, Ian Hamilton, who is currently not in the rumored trade deal. Todd Efros, who's pretty good. Nick Ramirez, who can eat innings. Marinaccio, I like. And Matt Crook, who is obviously not established, but I don't really see that being a huge issue in my honest opinion. And that's why I think the allocation is to go get the big fish in Yamamoto and spend the money that may be on the over the threshold this year, but you can think about it next year when you're going with Scott Boras and negotiating. Like if Soto has 35 home runs, maybe the Yankees only offer him $300 million, but if he hits 55, maybe he gets it, like he's 25 years old. And so I think the bullpen's fine. I have a real issue with the offense, and that's really where my stance has been on. We went from one outfielder like Jason said, we went from 1 outfielder to 4 outfielders. So they are making moves there. And I actually like what I'm seeing from, like maybe now the starters are the weakest link, but it's all starting to get like, they were pretty bad at offense. Like they stunk on offense last year. And I feel like the bullpen's perfectly fine. And if you need to make a trade at the deadline to acquire a guy for the bullpen that gets you through October, I'm cool with that too.
Yeah, and I hate to beat up on Greg Weiser, but I always would joke around. Greg Weiser, he looks like a guy from like South Jersey or from Philly that has like an HVAC company, right? That he works with his father in the HVAC business, right? So when it comes for Weiser, getting rid of Weiser in order to get Verdugo, I thought was a solid move. A name that you forgot to mention for the bullpen, Luis Hill. His recovery, his rehabbing this offseason, his fastball is already ticking 100 miles per hour, according to the reports. And I'm glad we didn't include Luis Hill in whatever potential trade that's going to happen. Dylan, want to get your take when it comes to the bullpen. What's your thoughts on Josh Hader and any other sleepers that you think could emerge out that bullpen that could help us out this season?
Right. I stand where Jimmy does on this. I don't think the bullpen really needs to be prioritized. Like, yeah, Josh Hader is a cool name, and, he had a really good season last year, but, the bullpen is good where it's at right now. I don't think it was really an issue last year. The team hit 227 as a team last year. That was the number one problem. So they're addressing that right now by getting, guys like Soto and, Verdugo. That's the focus that should be, the case from start to finish, and of course, if they can get Yamamoto, that's fantastic. You upgrade the starting rotation. Now you have Cole and Yamamoto at the top, and hopefully if Rodon, figures it out, you have essentially 3 aces in that rotation. You don't need to have like a Josh Hader to, get that for that bullpen. You already have good closers back there, good relievers. You have Clay Holmes. They're thinking about bringing Wandy Peralta back. I wouldn't even be upset if they did that. I know he wasn't fantastic last season, but it's not like he was a bad arm. I feel like it would be better than paying a lot of money to Josh Hader, because the last thing I want to see is them shell out a bunch of money for a relief pitcher. That's the last thing I want. We've already seen them flop with that with guys like Zach Britton and Aroldis Chapman, so I really don't want a repeat of that. I know Josh Hader has had, a good track record of success, but you never know what'll happen if you give him a lot of money. So that's where I stand on it. I really don't think they need to focus on that. I really think that's one of the last things they should really be addressing. I think the pitching and the bullpen, especially the bullpen, is one of the last issues that need to be addressed. Do I think the bullpen is perfect? No, but I also don't think it's as urgently needed to address as the offense, because the offense is purely why they were as bad as they were last year. 227 as a team, like I said. That's really all I got to say about that.
Yeah, no, and I get it, right? Also, we got 82 people in the building. Smack that like button and hit the subscribe button. For me, like you said, the offense, the glaring issue, right? That's the number one glaring issue. For me, I think we need to handle A, B, and C first before we try to do E, F, and G. So basically handle the offense first, and then after the offense is set, then if you want to improve the bullpen here or there, you go out there and improve the bullpen. To your point about Wandy Peralta, I always like to compare him to Scott Proctor. I think he fell under the Scott Proctor effect last year, being overused early in the season by Aaron Boone, the same way Scott Proctor was overused by Joe Torre, and his arm almost fell off his body. So yeah, when it comes to Wandy, he's looking good. He lost about 15 pounds. Is looking
one
like.
other thing I want to add too. I don't mean to cut you off. But one other thing
No,
I want to
go ahead,
add.
Dylan. Floor's yours.
If you look at just what they've done in recent years, you can find like hidden gems in the trade market for pretty cheap in the relief area. Clay Holmes was somebody that was like a nobody until he became a Yankee. Then he became our closer. Same thing with Wandy Peralta too. You can find guys like that, for pretty cheap without having to offer too much and sign big contracts too. And especially in this day and age of pitching, almost every single relief pitcher, especially in the back end of the pen, is throwing 100 miles an hour with a great sinker or has a nasty curveball or something like that. You can find many guys like that, and they're cheaper options too. Instead of shelling out a bunch of money for Josh Hader, who is a great reliever, by the way. But I'm just saying there are better alternatives that can you can avoid spending the big bucks on. That's what I just wanted to add.
Yeah. If it came out that the Yankees signed Josh Hader to a 1-year, $13 million deal before the Soto trade happened, I would be extremely confused. So that's really where I don't know. But of course,
Me too.
that's all I'm saying. Like, I don't know. Like, I think that the Yankees sometimes are like, they like outwit themselves. Like, you don't need like their bullpen is so good. And then there are so many times that I knew that 7, 8, and 9 in their lineup were automatic outs last year. And and again, Oswaldo Cabrera, the Wizard of Oz, nicest guy ever, does like signing autographs.
Amazing.
Awesome. But he's not a guy that I want to see getting at bats for the Yankees. And maybe I'm the bad guy for saying that, but like maybe he could go platoon in Las Vegas and do something fun with his career. Like you never know what his career could turn into, but I just don't think he's ready right now. And when you have the young bats of Volpe and you're thinking about Peraza being up and Austin Wells is probably going to get 60, 70 games, and then you're just starting like, ooh, our offense is, again, weak. Like, we have these two big games. Like, they just have to keep on going. Like, keep on getting guys like Verdugo. Okay, you want to spend $9 million on a hitter? Great, sure.
Yeah.
And that's really where I'm at. Just because my eyes will bleed if I watch that same type of offense next year.
Yeah, and to your point, you said 7, 8, and 9 was automatic out. Sometimes it felt like 7, 8, 9, 4, 5, and 6. All 6 positions were automatic outs. That's what it felt like last year watching this game. Watching this team. And how many games that we see, and I throw it over to you, Jason, that it's like the 6th inning and the opposing pitcher is throwing a no-hitter against us. It felt like it was at least twice out of the week that was a regular occurrence inside of Yankee Stadium. Go ahead, Jason.
Which is why I think the bringing out all these left-handed bats is a good idea, because it's going to lengthen the lineup. Like we said earlier, you got to put more high on-base percentage guys in front of Judge and in front of Stanton. You got to put these guys in RBI positions, right? It also lengthens the lineup, makes it harder for pitchers. And you guys make a good point about Hector, because I don't see the Yankees dropping. If they're going to drop $20+ million on somebody, it's going to be Yamamoto, not Hector, right? And the reason why I bring up Torres for relief pitching, because this is the first time in a while that a lot of relievers with controllable years on the cheap are available at the same time. They just happen to be on teams that need bats, and we have the bat that could net one of these guys, Gleyber Torres. So we've gotten enough offense already to help offset that or withstand that, if that makes sense. And by boosting the bullpen, and yes, they have a lot of good guys, but if they can get like an AJ Clark or an Andrew Nardi from the Marlins, that's my little daughter, they've added a left-handed reliever with a lot of control. But yes, because Clay Holmes is up after next year. Okay,
Jason, your daughter doesn't agree with the trade.
I know she doesn't agree with it. She never agrees with it, man. So, but like Clay Holmes is up next year, right? And I think Marinaccio might be up next year. So how about get a guy or two with controllable years here to surpass that? I mean, to offset that when they're coming. Because I don't know if they're going to re-sign Clay Holmes. We don't know if they're going to re-sign Marinaccio. So if we can get a guy or two with controllable years for Torres and a prospect or two, it'd be a good idea to investigate.
Yeah. I just wanted to say we got over 100 people in the chat right now. If you guys can smack that like button, hit the subscribe button. My guy Jacob Petruzzi with an update per Brian Hoach, who says, Brian Hoach says the delay on the Juan Soto trade is coming from the San Diego side as they review medicals and information. So stay tuned. So like I said earlier, when you have all these pitchers that are going over to San Diego, if you're the Padres, you're going to do everything you can to get a second and third opinion on the medical report, especially when it comes to Michael King, whose elbow blew up on him, especially when it comes to Drew Thorpe. That was
nothing happened to Michael King. Nothing.
Yeah, Michael King. Actually, I'll take that back. Michael King is healthy. He ate a sensu bean. He got it from Goku earlier this morning, so his health is 100%. You're right, Jimmy. I apologize I apologize for the false reporting.
I'm trying to add a little bit of humor to this whole, because the men, like, guys, take Clark Schmidt, take Michael King. Like, have either one.
I'm not giving them both. Both is crazy.
Either one of them. It makes sense for both of our teams. Padres, you're doing a great job. If you're listening, you're doing a great job. Yankees, you're doing a great job. Michael King, his elbow, he came back. You saw him.
It's bionic. He's bionic, man, bro. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
If I had to take a bet, I bet that's what's holding it up. I bet the Michael King stuff. And maybe they have to throw in Schmidt over King. I wouldn't cry about that if they want to take Schmidt over King.
You can't, because you got to look at the potential, and I'll throw it over to you, Hala, right after I say this. The potential starting rotation for the Yankees. Garrett Cole be your ace, obviously. Then if we get Yamamoto, you could put him right behind Garrett Cole. Carlos Rodon is already there at the 3 spot. Nestor Cortez, he's supposed to be coming back for his injury. So that leaves you the 5 spot. It could either be Clark Schmidt if he stays, Frankie Montas, whoever else the Yankees want to throw out there. And this is really going to go on Matt Blake, because shout out to Matt Blake being the pitching guru, the pitching whisperer. Kenyon Middleton, another reliever we got from the Chicago White Sox. He's expressed how he wants to come back to the Yankees. He was phenomenal for us in that second half after we got him out the trade deadline. When he was with the White Sox, his ERA was over 4. When he was pitching with the with the Yankees, his ERA was below 250. Go ahead, Love.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a ton of stuff that Matt Blake's going to work. Another name you can mention as coming in as a kind of starter, you could have someone piggyback with him, but Luis Heel definitely is another guy. I really think when it comes to Clark Schmidt and Michael King, if the Yankees are saying, assuming this is not on San Diego's side, I assume that it's being the Yankees have some sort of, Matt Blake's really been working with Clark Schmidt then to make sure that he's one of those high leverage guys coming into 2023. If they're 2024, assuming that they're offering up Michael King before Clark Schmidt and they're fighting to hold on to Clark Schmidt, I assume the way I take out from that is that there's some value that's happening right now with Clark Schmidt. We've seen like bits and pieces of value with Clark Schmidt, but there's got to be something more. Quickly. Go for it.
To your point, that's exactly it. That's exactly, and nobody, listen, when Aaron Boone put Clark Schmidt in that game versus the Guardians in the postseason game, Clark Schmidt got so many ricochet shots from me, so many. I just did not feel it, did not make sense, and that's more on Aaron Boone than on Clark Schmidt. But Garrett Cole's been working with him closely. It's like his little puppy. And, he's been grooming him. And, he's 27 and he's kind of, and again, I'll say goodbye to him, but he's kind of found it. And I've been his biggest hater. So to your point, when I'm starting to think, arbitration for Clark Schmidt, a 27-year-old, till 2028, or Michael King, I don't know, take either one. That's fine. They just have to keep on pivoting. The last couple seasons, they didn't pivot quickly enough. So your point is spot on, about the whole Clark Schmidt versus Michael King situation. And if they said, hey, we wanted Clark Schmidt instead, sure, we'll take Michael King. We'll take Michael King instead. So I really think it's a win-win-win. I do.
Yeah, what was everyone's thoughts on quickly? I'm curious because I was wondering this whole Randy Miller reports about Soto's father, friend, all that stuff. It was funny to me. Obviously, I respect all the reporters out there. No disrespect to him personally at all. I found it funny. You don't know who's acting as puppets as the reporters right now. So that's something, just curious on everyone's thoughts on all
Listen, the lady, the Dominican lady from the restaurant on Broadway in 207, where I live in Washington Heights, she told me that she has a friend that used to babysit Juan Soto when she was younger back in the Dominican Republic. No, but to your point, no. When those reports came out, I was laughing as well. Listen, if it's true, it's true. If it's not, it's not. 2 things I want to point out. We got 100 people in the building. Smack that like button, hit the subscribe button. I dropped the link to Fireside Yankees into the chat, so make sure you go and subscribe to Fireside Yankees. Make sure you go and subscribe to Backstage Baseball Media, and also make sure you go and subscribe to 161 River Ave and the Jimmy Randazzo Show. Appreciate you brothers jumping on and joining me for this conversation. We got 53 likes with 103 people in the building. Let's run the likes up. Let's get to 100 on the stream. Come on, baby.
Let's go, people.
Jimmy Randazzo's debut on the Morning Brew Brew. How you doing? He stole the Christmas tree from his grandmother. You know, it's still love. Just know that. Grandma will get the Christmas tree back after the conversation. But Jimmy, throw it over to you, my brother. When those reports, like Halal was talking about, coming out earlier, different reports from his father, his cousin. I know you said in Jeff passing we trust, but what was your thoughts on that?
On which one? Which tweet?
When it comes to like the different, his father said that a friend of his,
yeah. Listen, I'm not familiar with his game, as the kids say. But I will say that I somewhat trust him, and I think that that's somebody's job. Somebody's job has to follow the families. And right now, Juan Soto is just in the same position as me, you, or the next person. And, you know, he's a real person. He's not just a left-handed bat. He's also a real person. So, yeah, like, he's thinking about it. Apparently he's in Miami. Then you have a guy, his barber, who's like a famous barber in the Bronx.
Yeah.
Who's posting like, welcome to Bronx, Juan. Maybe Juan knows something, and they're just like, hey, listen, like, we can't really announce anything for, you know, if it's not going to be, they're like probably figuring out who Yankees probably said this or that, and the Yankees are like, Juan Soto's chilling. So like Randy Miller could be dead on correct. And, but I'm not so much familiar with his game, but I trust in that source because people have lives and people have to follow the family members and people have to report on this because it's $1 billion industry and the Yankees are worth 7.1. And Juan Soto is probably going to put out an insurance policy in 2025, upwards of $70 million or something. Just, you know, so I don't know. I think that yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling real good about this right now.
No, 100%. And I want to throw a question over to Dylan. Just a little bit different. Dylan, with the day and age that we are in when it comes to technology, right? We're able to have different streams, different content creators. The industry is growing when it comes to independent content creators like you guys over there on Fireside Yankees. I think this moment here for Yankee fans, we've never seen it. We've never been this involved. We've never been this tapped in. We've never been disconnected to one another as Yankee fans from New York City, maybe some people on the West Coast. What's your take on the day that we are in when it comes to technology and the news that breaks like that, Dylan?
Right. You know, I definitely agree 100% about what you said that, like, you know, we haven't really seen them get disconnected in a while. You know, I mean, like, we've seen Yankee fans come together all the time, especially when times were bad last season or, you know, whenever trade rumors come up. I mean, the past 2 days have been just chaotic on Yankees Twitter. I mean, you know, just last night, like, I fell asleep around like 12:30 in the morning or whatever, woke up at 4 a.m. though and checked Twitter just to see if there was anything that popped up overnight. All of Yankees Twitter is still awake, tweeting about, you know, anything going on with Soto. And I was like, man, why is everybody like, you know, like, I didn't realize that's like what kind of when it hit me, like, this is a pretty big deal, you know, that we have most Yankee fans haven't really seen something like this in quite some time, you know, and for some, maybe even at all, you know, there's a lot of young Yankee fans out there. So for some, this could even be the first time that they're really seeing like this kind of big superstar that's about to get moved over here. So, you know, overall, I mean, I think it's just, it's a really good experience. And especially, you know, I think this is a good time for a lot of, you know, Yankees content creators, even like, you know, like all you guys on the panel and stuff that, you know, can take advantage of this and, you know, get a lot of engagement and, you know, talk to fans and get their opinions and stuff. I think this is a fantastic time for it. And I really am enjoying seeing, you know, a lot of Yankee fans come together for this. I think it's a joy to see.
Yeah. And I really want to, and like I said earlier, credit and shout out to all the different Yankee content creators. Jimmy, you on Twitter, you guys over on Fireside Yankees, Halal, my guy Pete, Jason, Joe from The Shift, Derek from NYY Recaps, the amount of different Yankee content creators and the great content everyone has been putting out. Shout out to Uncle Taz from the Pinstripe Chronicles as well. During this time, it makes it even better as a Yankee fan, having these different venues and avenues, because not everybody is going to agree with each other, right? Not everybody is going to like my takes. Not everybody's going to like Dylan or Jason takes, but there's a place for everyone to go to in order to vent their frustrations or their excitement about what's going on with the Yankees right now. I want to just throw the floor over to you, Jason. What's your take when it comes to the different content creators and the time that we are in right now? And let's circle it back to Halal to get some more Juan Soto talk.
I think it's a good thing to have all these different perspectives on the same thing. We're all Yankee fans. We all come from different avenues and roads. I think the more information you have, the better informed you're going to be. I do think it's important for obviously to be accurate and with the stuff that we talk about. But that said, I think having all these different perspectives gives us different ideas and gives us a better understanding of where people are coming from. We might not be thinking about this, and someone else can be saying that, and it'll increase our thinking process, right? It'll improve our thinking process. So there's a lot of positions that some of you guys take that I never thought of. So it's a welcome addition to the information that we get. And so I'm thankful for all these content creators too, because it's assuming that my way is the only way of thinking is kind of naive, right? So, and I don't want to do that. So I welcome all these different perspectives. Like you guys have brought in positions today that aren't necessarily mine, but it's important to consider your positions and think of those positions try to think of it from your shoes, right? Because my stance isn't always the right stance. Yeah. So I thank all the different content creators. I thank all you guys for bringing your positions.
Yeah, no, same. And I feel the same way. My guy, NFE in the chat, who says, you guys inspired me to start my own channel. And that's why I tell everybody, if you guys have an itch and want to do this, you guys know I do an open panel over here. So if you guys want to come on to the open panel, we'll have one later on after the fellas dip out. But I like to do the open panels to make it open for everyone. I may not agree with everyone's perspective, but you still have a voice as a Yankee fan, and it still need to be respected, whether I agree with it, whether Halal agrees with it, Jimmy, Dylan, Jason, so on and so on. So everyone's perspective is welcome. And just know, this platform we have, it's not a debate platform. I'm not here going to debate Jimmy why my take is better than him. Same thing for Halal, Dylan, L.I. Yankee King, who is one of the biggest trolls in the Yankee universe, but I still love my guy. Even though he's from Ohio and he drives Dylan and Jason crazy, I still love my guy, L.I. Yankee King. So L.I. Yankee King with the $4.99 super chat that says, what does the panel think of me saying the whole can't handle New York thing is absolutely 100% bullcrap, and the New York media isn't that tough? Halal, I throw it over to you, throw it over to Jimmy, then Dylan and Jason. What's your take when it comes to the can't handle that New York pressure?
Man, hop on the field when you have 45,000 people booing you, and then tell me that that's not enough. Walking into your apartment scared, you're getting death threats, that's not enough? I don't know. That's my point. I also want to say I actually just picked up my phone, texted my friend's father's uncle who's in charge of the medical stuff at the Padres to put in a good word for Michael King. So sources over there got that.
Work behind the scenes.
Yeah. Really, I just wanted to circle back to the point where guys who are starting their own channel, like I really anyone who does that, I have much respect for and always happy to help out. And I think it's all the broad. Everyone has their own different way of going about it. Hector and Brew Crew is all about the live streams and everything. Everyone has their own way. And like my thing was find something that's different. And I didn't realize that I had something that's different right in front of me. I had the opportunity. There's not a lot of young content creators. So the way that I wanted to is put in the perspective of a 13-year-old boy and address it in a professional way, do it in a way that a lot of people like try to do it, but my goal is to be there and knock down all the bullets that other guys are doing at the professional level. So that's my goal, to make it like that. But really, when it comes to the Yankees and stuff, I honestly think that there's a lot of pressure in New York. So whether you like it or not, there's a ton of pressure in New York.
Jimmy, a ton of pressure. Yeah, there's so much pressure in New York. I was getting information about something that would have gotten me thousands of retweets, but instead I didn't send it because I was told not to spread the information, and I threw up instead. That is pressure. It really is. It really is. When you're getting information from a network that you work at, and because I'm not a full-time employee there or anything, but when you're getting information from people, from a group chat, from friends that are there, they're like, wait, we're working for 14 hours today, or we're staying extra, or we're getting overtime. And I literally had to just eat it because, like sometimes again, we don't spread misinformation and the deal isn't done until, again, trust in Jack Curry, but pressure. Yes, there's pressure. Absolutely. Again, well, I don't know. I think we all agree that there's pressure. But yeah,
I gotta ask.
Maybe you're cool, calm, and collected.
Yeah, there's pressure on the hot dog vendor on 42nd Street if he messes people's order up when it comes to being in New York City,
100%,
right? There's pressure at the bodega if you're taking too long to make my bacon, egg, and cheese, salt, pepper, and ketchup in the morning, my guy. So there is pressure no matter what your job is in New York City. I worked EMS in the South Bronx for years, and I can tell you there's no type of pressure working 911 in the Bronx, running lights and sirens in New York City, right? So there's a lot of pressure, whether you're a player, whether you're just the average Joe that takes the train every day to work, but whatever your job is, there's definitely pressure. Dylan, want to throw it over to you, and then that handsome bastard down there, Celso Porto. Sorry for
Jason. Oh, Jason. I thought you were going to say it. Do you really think I was going to miss this panel? You got Hillel, you got Randazzo, you got Dylan and Jason, you sexy sons of guns. What's up, fellas? Dylan, I'll wait my turn. Go ahead, bro. How you doing?
Go ahead, Dylan.
Oh my god. So, first off, man, no, you good, man. First off, shout out LI Yankee King. I got to know who he was because he would always pop up in the Fireside Yankees live streams when me and Ryan would do it during the regular season. Wouldn't always agree with what he said, but he was watching every single stream, and we love that support. So first off, shout out on that. And secondly, there is a ton of pressure playing in New York. I don't think that's really, I personally don't think that's up for a debate. It's one of the biggest markets, if not the biggest in the sports world in the country. So, of course it's going to come with a ton of pressure. Now, do I think Juan Soto in particular can handle it? I do, because if you just go look back and see what he did in 2019 in the World Series against the Houston Astros, which is a pretty rowdy environment itself, he played well. So I personally think he can handle New York. Of course, that's, to be determined, of course, if he comes here. Technically he's not here, so I'm not going to speak as if he's here, but it seems like everyone in the media is acting like he's already a Yankee, so I'm kind of just speaking in that regard. But yeah, just kind of wrap up my point. There's a ton of pressure playing in New York. I can explain why there is so much, but I think it's pretty self-explanatory. It's a, rowdy market. The fans are very, very passionate, both just, not even just for baseball, but look at Knicks fans as well. Me, Hector have done Knicks stuff before. Even Knicks fans are very passionate. Even when the Knicks were playing trash, the fans would still pop out and those games would get sold out. New York is a very, very strong market, a lot of passionate fans. So, I don't think it's really a debate. There's a ton of pressure in New York. It can go for either sport, really, not even just baseball. Any sport in New York, a ton of pressure to play in. Huge market.
My guy LI Yankee King says, by the way, I would love 40K people to boo me. Yeah, because you're a heel in wrestling. Just so you guys know, if you didn't know, LI Yankee King, he's an independent wrestler. He works the indie scenes and he's a heel, just so you guys know. So this is his gimmick. So just people understand when LI Yankee King, when he goes at you on Twitter, he's playing a part of his character. He is so good at it. And he is really good on it, working the indie circuit. So shout out to my guy LI Yankee King.
Well,
go ahead, Celso.
I love that. I actually really do, because I've been so confused before, and then I've been trying to help him. I'm like, bro, like you're tweeting this stuff with 2 different accounts right now. Like
it makes sense now, right?
Like,
now it makes sense, right, Jimmy?
Like,
it makes sense now.
He's doing something right. If we're all talking about
right,
it.
Every channel says LI's name. He is the troll of all trolls, man. He's so good.
That's incredible.
That's it.
That is incredible.
If there's one thing that LI does, he creates conversation. Go ahead, Celso.
Yeah, and when he's on your panel, bro, anytime he's here, you just gotta look at those massive hands of his. You're like, yeah, he's a wrestler. Dude's like gigantor hands. So I'm guessing the topic is performing in New York. Is that what it is? Is that what we guys
pressure? And I didn't want to bring up Zach Wilson, but Sean Browning put him in the chat. I apologize.
You know what? Ban him. Ban him right now. All right.
Zach Wilson made me a lot of money when he played at BYU. A lot.
And then it went downhill from there.
But he's better than Tim Boyle, right?
Facts, 100%.
Okay.
Who's not better than Tim Boyle?
I know. But that's a
Lucas in the chat says Jimmy saves kittens from fires. I believe that. He looks like a fire saver. Lucas, welcome to the chat. Let us know if this is your first time in the building. Go ahead, Celso.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say the other side of performing in New York, right? Yeah, we all know how the media can be here. We know how the fans can be here. But on that same note, when you are performing, when you are that guy that's here, this fan base will love you to death. We will support you 100%. But as quick as we love you, you start shit in the bed, we're gonna let you know. So as quick as we are to throw a boo at you, we're also quick as heck to put you on the Mount Rushmore of our top sports guys, right? So yeah, Juan Soto's gonna be just fine here. All right, you bring that Dominican flavor down to the Bronx. How you doing? No question about it. Come on, you really think there's a question? I don't think there's a question. He said, I did see what's his face said, how about Joey Gallo?
That's a different conversation for a different day.
I'm sorry, Hector.
No. Go ahead, brother.
And I got like your thoughts on Cody Bellinger, because I didn't feel it. Obviously, it's on Soto. This is what's happening, but maybe just around the league and baseball, people were. I let on the Twitter Spaces everyone talk, and sometimes it's 4 hours long, sometimes it's 23 minutes long. Right. And somebody was throwing out the fact that he wants Cody Bellinger at first base, and I was trying to wrap my head around it. Obviously, oh God, do I have a text message?
Come on, the Ravens. All right,
not sharing that one.
No cats to save. No cats to save.
No cats to save. Because I guess we can't talk, the word medicals at this point, Michael King is being Michael King is what's holding up this deal right now. As we speak, Michael King is holding up the deal, and he shouldn't. B, if they rather Clark Schmidt instead, fine. But that's what's at this point. But I think they realized that, he performed really well. But the information is that it's going to be a long night at the glue factory over there. So, but I think that's what's holding up. And I'm sorry, I just got the text right there. I just threw up everything. But Cody Bellinger at first base, would you guys hate it or love it?
For me, when it comes to Cody Bellinger, and I'll say this real quick, I'll throw it over to Halal, then to Jason, Dylan, and Celso. For me, when it comes to Cody Bellinger, it's just the injury history is a big concern to me. If you could tell me we can sign Cody Bellinger for a 1 year or a 2 year deal, prove it with a player option for that second year. If he could perform and show people that he's healthy for 2 seasons in a row, he builds his value and he can get more money on the free agent market. So I can take a chance.
300, right? Is what he's seeking.
Well, 250 is what he's seeking. I'm not sure if he's going to get 250. He could get 200, but like I said, if we were to get him on a 1 year prove it deal, he could play center field, move to first base if Anthony Rizzo doesn't bounce back. If he could prove that he's healthy for 2 seasons back to back, he can get himself a longer length for the contract and more money. But if it's an 8 year 250 for Cody Bellinger, I got to pass on it.
Okay, no,
I got to pass on it.
Okay, I really needed to hear that from somebody else too, because this guy was slowly convincing me. Because he always say it's not
the power of Twitter Spaces.
There's no cap space. There's only a luxury tax. So when you're spending $300 million on a guy from Asia and you're getting $150 million in jersey sales from said guy in 1 year, that's calculated differently from a guy from the United States, kind of. And
anywhere from like 25 to 50 million on TV revenue, because they'll be streaming Yankee games over in Japan as well because of that TV deal.
Correct. And so, okay. So I just wanted, because like I can trick myself into an outfielder playing first base, but I know he can, like, and I'm pretty sure like 2 or 3 of us might be able to catch ground balls at first base. But
I know I can't.
I don't trust him. I just don't trust him for a big contract. I would have loved to trade for him at the trade deadline in the previous year because the Yankees didn't have any hitters. But to take a huge risk on that, I just wanted to run it by you guys because I was almost convinced.
If there was no Juan Soto available, then you got to go after Cody Bellinger. If Juan Soto was signing an extension with San Diego, knock on wood, and they weren't trading him, then you got to pivot to the next best bat on the market, and the next best bat is Cody Bellinger. That's when you're going to have to take that gamble. But now that it's not, Juan Soto is available, you have to go after the best fish, and that's Juan Soto. Halal, want to throw it over to you. What's your take on Cody Bellinger? Then throw it over to Jason, Dylan, and Celso. Go ahead.
Yeah, 100%. I think he's the backup option right now. And I don't even think he is the backup option as it stands right now. Because, look, we got Verdugo. I think before Verdugo, he was the backup option. And I think the Yankees are kind of out on Bellinger right now. You have Soto. You'll get Dominguez back. And then you'll get Soto. Verdugo's there. So I think right now Bellinger's out of the picture. I think it's unrealistic to think you'll get Soto. You'll get Bellinger. You'll get Yamamoto. That's unrealistic. I think if you're going to get Yamamoto, settle with Soto, and then move from there.
It's a good set.
Copy. Jason, what's your take when it comes to Cody Bellinger? What's your reserves when it comes to him? Then throw it over to Dylan and Celso.
Bellinger. Well, let me just add to Jigga's point too. If Magic Mike 4 would ever happen, you don't even need to have auditions. This is the cast right here. Okay. Right?
How did Jason just get us all to take our clothes off? What just happened?
Yeah, right. Mine is allowed. He doesn't know what that is. We don't need that.
In my personal opinion, if I was going to pivot from somebody from Soto, I would pivot to Jung-Hoo Lee instead of Bellinger, because not only will he cost half the price or even less, but he's the only guy that's available in the game with a 400 career on-base percentage, just like Soto. And I want to put high on-base percentage guys in front of Judge and or Stanton, right? So he could be the leadoff hitter. He's a lefty bat. He's an elite defender, puts the ball in play. He's a low strikeout type of guy. So he has a lot of the characteristics of Soto, just not on Soto at the Soto level. Yeah. So he'd be the guy I'd pivot to. But if Bellinger were the guy here, and he's the only guy that has that versatility to move from the outfield to the infield, right, to replace Anthony Rizzo at some point, because the majority of his injuries have been lower body injuries, with the exception of the long bout of COVID. And if you move him to the infield at some point, you're protecting his legs. So I could see the logic in that, but I do worry as well. He's asking for, according to reports, like $250 million. So, and I think any team that strikes out on Ohtani is going to pivot quickly to Bellinger. And I think that's going to be candy to the ears of Scott Boras, because it's going to increase the market for Bellinger. So if you're willing to spend $500 million on Ohtani, why wouldn't you spend $250 or plus on Bellinger, right? And that's going to be the argument. That's a pretty good argument for Boras to have behind his back. So, but with that said, I think at the end of the day, I think Bellinger's probably going to be a Mariner or a Blue Jay or something like that with the needs that they have. And I do think if the Blue Jays strike out on Ohtani, they'll pivot quickly to Bellinger, and he's going to be a direct beneficiary of the runners up on the Soto and the Ohtani sweepstakes, right? He's got 3 offers plus a $500 million already. So the teams that strike out on him are probably going to pivot quickly to Bellinger if they need an outfielder. So, and I think it's an important thing to consider. So, and to your point you guys were making earlier, I appreciate the different perspectives, and like you said, Hector, too, as long as you're respectful of people, like, that's what matters on these things. And LA Yankee King he's growing. He has a household name he's built a household name by being a troll. He's kind of endeared on everybody's channel.
Yeah.
So
he's like that hemorrhoid that pops up every once in a while, right? You hate the shit, but you're like, it's still there.
Yeah, but I
don't know how to answer that.
Not necessarily to him, but like, and you guys know I do this. The content creators that will bash people on a regular basis, like, I just tell them, you're gonna bash it, back it up, tell them to their face. Period.
Yeah, it has to be like it is a little bit like wrestling too, because like I don't think anyone's really a bad guy, but when you have people come at you, and then you're like, listen, like, you find people, and you're like, listen, like, I think I might know like somebody that or like, you know what I mean, like, like there were people. There's just like, you don't want to do it too much, but you listen. I get people. If you come after somebody, you better not miss, because somebody can take you over the top. There's 2 or 3 people that I've had to end Twitter's careers, like legitimately on the phone with powerful people, being like, like making sure that I know who this person is before I bury them. So you have to watch out there. But 99.9 times out of 100, you have to smile, laugh, thank the person for the engagement, unless they're because usually, and it's a steady level of, you know, you might be hating somebody, but you're really jealous of them, or you might be hating somebody because they made a bad take, but they're helping you. It's like 50 Cent used to say. Like, he used to throw people layups.
Yeah, like with Chameleonaire. Yeah.
And then get so you have to throw people layups sometimes, and the people that you're quote tweeting sometimes, you know, like a Brendan Q Swiss or whatever his name is, you know, like you know, like different people where you got to be nice, and sometimes you don't want to be, you know. Then you do some research and you're like, hey, this is not worth my time. What am I doing?
Yeah, the perfect comment to go with that. My guy, Dr. Hiskins, a superhero story is always good at the villain.
And I think that there's degrees of villains. You know, like, listen, again, I will not tweet out something breaking or anything. I will not troll because, again, I was the guy throwing up in the bathroom. I don't want to ruin my entire career because I got a text message that says do not share, and you know what I mean, break bridges and all that. But then at the same time, you have this information. What do? You just sit on it? The same thing that happened with Bobble Day at the end of the season. And I asked the producer, and they said, yes, you can tweet it. That's perfectly fine. We're trying to direct people out of Yankee Stadium instead of towards Yankee Stadium. So be my guest. So, you know, like, there is demon time. There is villain mode, but it's not about information breaking. But if somebody comes after me and says, you know, and I'm having a bad day because I stubbed my foot, or, you know, somebody else I know is having a bad day, you can't get caught in the fire. It could be that. It could be that.
Dylan, I want to throw it over to you to get your take. My fault, Jason. Were you done with Cody Bellinger? My apologies, brother.
Yeah, I was going to say good point, Jimmy. Good points you brought up. Good references, man. Well done, bro.
Yeah. Dylan, we want to throw it over to you to get your take on Dylan's question about Cody Bellinger. And do you have a place where you think he's going to go? What's your thoughts on him, brother?
Heck, by the way, I'm going to peel out. I got to cook dinner,
so
man.
with Bellinger, you know, hearing all the stuff about him getting $250 million, hearing the stuff about okay, no worries. Hearing all this stuff about him getting $250 million is, like, to me, it's such a turnoff, you know, because, like, I'm personally not a fan of giving him a ton of money because of more so of his inconsistent play over the past 3 or 4 years. You know, I have the stats pulled in front of me. You know, in 2021 he hit 165. In 2022 he hit 210. Last year he hit 307, but he really slumped in the second half. So could his first half success kind of just be like a flash a little bit from 2019, and this, you know, the second half of what he was is kind of just who he is now? That's kind of a question I like to kind of raise a little bit, because, you know, of course, when you sign a free agent to a large contract, it's going to come with a risk no matter what, you know, especially if it's going to be for several years and for, you know, at least 9 figures. It's going to be a big risk no matter what. For a guy like Bellinger, I think it's a massive risk, and I really think it's something that the Yankees can really avoid, and which is why I'm glad that they're, you know, focusing on Soto as opposed to Bellinger. Now, don't get me wrong. I think Bellinger is not even, you know, the worst possible fit for the Yankees. I think, you know, his lefty power and stuff would be great. But, you know, do we really want another guy who's going to strike out a lot and not hit for a high average and kind of just be a little all or nothing with a lot more of nothing than the all part? That's what I really don't know about. You know what I mean? I don't know if I want to take on that, especially for the $250 million asking price that he's reportedly wanting, because that is a lot of money. That's like I heard that the other day and I was blown away. I was like, wow, I really hope the Yankees do not go after that and kind of take the bait on that, because I'd be pretty upset about that. You know, I don't think, like I said, I don't think Bellinger's a bad player, but I would be a little bit upset if they paid him that much money. And as for, you know, as far as where I think he's going to go, that's a tough question. I honestly have no idea where he's going to go, but I do think it would be an American League team. I think an American League team is going to come swoop in and take him. That's what I personally think. It's kind of just you know, a shot in the dark. I don't really have a good, you know, outlook on it, what specific team I think he'd go for. I think, you know, the points that were made before about maybe going to Toronto or something is not a bad take at all. I do think it would be an American League team, though, that's going to be the hardest to pursue him. So we'll just have to see what happens with that. But as far as the Yankees go with Bellinger, I don't want to see them pay him that much money. I really don't. And if they have to go after Bellinger at all, it cannot be for that much money. It really can't. So I really don't think they're going to end up with him, which I will not be mad about at all as long as we have Soto. So that's where I stand.
Yeah, I feel like it's a catch-22 with Cody, right? Because one, I think this conversation changes if we didn't already pull the Verdugo thing off, right? If we're not already high on the fact that we're getting Soto, right? It changes the narrative for us as Yankees fans, right? We can't sit there and talk about a one-year prove-it deal. He did that last season. Okay. And that's why he's here now putting his chest out there because, hey, it's been a while since he's having over 300 batting average, right? So he's able to sit there and be like, yeah, I want that money. It would be horrible. I even saw somebody in the chat a little while ago say, no, thank you. Don't remind me of Ellsbury's situation where we're going to go throw money at a guy, right? And the fact is, I see what Jason was saying too. Well, it'd be nice, you move him over to first and all that. Well, you know what? I'm focused on 28 right now. Right? I'm not worried about 25 when we were talking about Rizzo. Rizzo's our first baseman for this year. This is the 28 that we're chasing now. So for that to happen, I'm just focused on Soto. I'm focused on Yamamoto. Thanks for bringing in Verdugo. But Cody Bellinger, I just don't think it's the time. We could have pulled that trigger, like you said, Jimmy, last time before the trade deadline last season. That would have been the time to do it, right? You have the half of the season left to kind of see what you want to do. Is it worth re-signing him? If we would have gotten in that second half, Dylan, you said his numbers went down.
I agree. I completely agree. I tweeted it out.
Yeah.
I said, no, thank you. Like 130, 140 for 4 years, sure. Like, an exorbitant amount because we were so – but I just – when you get those comments and people start to – listen, I'm always here for scorched earth. When I started back in 2015, I wanted to wear the Darth Vader mask. I mean, so like scorch earth is always fun to me. But I get it. It's probably not necessary to really not necessary to spend $125 million on a guy who batted .210 a couple times in his career.
Jimmy said he likes to wake up and choose violence sometimes, from time to time. He likes to wake up and choose violence. I just want to take a quick pause real quick. We are at 70 people in the chat. We are sitting on 79 likes. If you guys can, smack that like button. We are sitting on 1,829 subscribers, one away from 1,830, and then we'll be 170 away from our goal of getting to 2,000 subs before the year is over. So if you guys are watching this, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. I got Jimmy Randazzo. I got this handsome bastard named Dylan Becker, and I got my guy Halal from Backstage Media. Halal, throw it over to you, my guy. I want to ask you, because I know we've heard reports of like the Atlanta Braves may be a sleeper team, the Seattle Mariners. Do you have any sleeper teams that you've been eyeing to see them make a big move, whether that's the San Francisco Giants? Because nobody has been wanting to take the Giants' money. They've been trying to pay people every offseason. Nobody wants to go to San Francisco. Hello, any sleepers out there for you, bro?
It's a good question. I'm going to go with the White Sox. I think they're a team that I don't know. I'm going back and forth between two AL Central teams here. I can take them both as sleepers. I say the Guardians and the White Sox. They both are still competing for that. We know the White Sox are more on the selling side, but the Guardians for sure can definitely do something huge.
Okay. All right. Jimmy, any go ahead, so it's my fault.
Well, I had a question. I don't know if I missed it, if you guys touched on it earlier, but you know me, I've been bringing up the closer conversation. Did you guys already talk about that since you've been together?
We talked, we already talked about the bullpen. Okay. Like I said, and Dylan, myself, Jimmy, and Halal, we all agree when it comes to the bullpen, our offense was the most glaring lacking issue from last year. So I want to make sure our offense is set up. Get Juan Soto, and then try to figure out the bullpen. Don't try to do too many things at once, because when you try to do that, you get egg on your face, right?
Yeah,
but Jimmy, I wanted to
go ahead. So. No, I was going to say, because did Jimmy and Dylan, did you guys say who you would go after for a closer? I'm just curious because I haven't heard your guys' take on that.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to
ask questions about Josh Hader, and me and Jimmy.
Go ahead, Dylan.
No, but basically we're talking about Josh Hader because Hector proposed a question about whether or not that would be someone that maybe the Yankees should go after. Now I said that while I do think he's a good pitcher, I don't think you really need to do that because you don't need to pay him a ton of money for it's a relief pitcher. We've already seen it go south when the Yankees pay money to a relief pitcher, and I brought up examples of Zach Britton or Aroldis Chapman, guys like that. There are probably other ones that I'm missing, but you can find hidden gems without having to pay that kind of money, even through the trade market. Look at Clay Holmes, like I mentioned. I mentioned this earlier, but for Celso's case, I'm just giving him the rundown here. Clay Holmes was somebody that was basically nobody in Pittsburgh, and then he came over here, and now he's our closer, and he's quite frankly is one of the better relievers in the American League. Wandy Peralta, same thing. You traded him for Mike Tauchman, and that was and he became our setup guy and arguably our closer last year in the playoffs in 2022. You can find guys like that have good stuff, that have that kind of ability without having to shell out a bunch of money in the free agent market. Another example, I didn't even bring this up before. Look at the Orioles and what they did last year with Yennier Cano. He was awful with the Minnesota Twins in 2022. Awful, terrible. They brought him in, and he ended up being one of the best relievers in baseball last year, was an all-star and all that, and he had good stuff. You know what I mean? I know that's an outlier example. I know not every relief pitcher with that kind of stuff turns out to be like him. And, of course, there's still more to be known about him. It's only been one season of success with him. But my point that I'm making is, you can find relievers out there that aren't the big names, that have good stuff, that can be very valuable to you. And the Yankees, with their pitching staff, their coaching staff, especially Matt Blake and stuff, can turn any of these guys into some elite relievers. That's just at least where I stand on it. I know Jimmy had something to say about it, so I'll let him kind of add on to that.
Yeah, I mean, excuse me. What I was saying from before is just like the bullpen's fine. It's perfectly when you start reading the names on the bullpen. I need guys to hit the ball more. I mean, when we look at the bullpen, we look at the starting numbers, and then you look at the offense, and Dylan, what's the number 227 they batted last year in a batting average, the Yankees? And then we look at the bullpen, and we're like, hey, this bullpen's actually pretty damn good. I think the Yankees have a top 5 bullpen. Truthfully, I maybe I'm dead wrong, but I think they have a top 5 bullpen. Do they have a top 10 bullpen guy if Michael King leaves? And obviously he was transitioning to starter as well, and his elbow's perfectly fine, by the way. But yeah, the bullpen's fine. Bullpen's fine. You have guys that are, if you want them at 7, 8, 9, it's a different world. I love what the Tampa Bay Rays did. I love allocating resources to starting pitching. I love allocating resources to talented offensive production, guys that can hit the ball out of the park, guys that can hit for contact now, but the offensive. And Dylan, to Dylan's point, like, he has an excellent point. That's trade deadline. You can get it. You have 90 wins. You're on pace to win 97 games, and it's June, July, and you're thinking, all right, let's go get 2 arms, you know? And what Yankees fans do best is they build up their prospects.
Oh, yeah.
Listen, everybody's great. Everybody looks good. And you know what? It's because they are, even though they haven't won in 14 years. By the way, I'll stay on the train of thought, but they haven't won in 14 years. They do a pretty damn good job within the organization. And obviously it's championship or bust every year. And then we backfired, and then it was AL East or bust. But listen, it's championship or bust. And listen, that's being a fan. What that really comes to, I don't really know where this tangent went because I haven't eaten today. But
I have those Michael Scott moments too, Jimmy.
Yeah, I know. You got to eat. No, yeah. I'll throw it back to you.
No, and I appreciate both of you answering it, because honestly, I mean, Hector knows why I brought up the question. I'm still on that side of, I'm not 100% in love with Holmes as our closer, right? So I still have that in the back of my mind. Yes, we saw good things and it getting better at times, and that's why I brought it up. So I appreciate both of you.
Yeah,
I just wanted Tom Verdugo just pointed it out there. This is from the MLB Network. Tom Verdugo said, I just ran into the guy from the Nationals who signed Soto originally, and he said in capital letters, Juan Soto loves New York. This is according to the scout that originally signed Juan Soto to the Washington Nationals. So according to Tom Verdugo, this is 18 minutes ago, Juan Soto loves New York. And we all love New York. I love New York. Dylan loves New York. Halal loves to go get cheesecake from the Cheesecake Factory in Times Square. We all love New York City right now. But Halal, my guy Ruben says the Yankees were number 1 in bullpen ERA, but in the bottom of the league was inherited runners. The bullpen issue is Boone, if I must be honest. Listen, my reserves when it comes to Clay Holmes, and I'm not sure, Dylan, how you guys feel about him. When it comes to Clay Holmes, I want a closer that's a strikeout guy. He relies too much on the ground ball. When you rely on the ground ball, it may find the outfield. It may find that little bit of grass that nobody is covering. That's my only reserves when it comes to Clay Holmes, that he's not a strikeout pitcher. Now, can he strike some guys out? He absolutely can when he's on. When that slider is on, slider is filthy. But it's a hit and miss when it comes to Clay Holmes. I would rather a closer that's an automatic strikeout. Back in the day, like Mariano was before he got older, Chapman before Chapman became Chapman. And that's just how I look at it, right? Halal, what's your take when it comes to that, when it comes to the bullpen?
Look, when his sinker's working right, he is unfair. So I don't know how to go about that. I think having another guy there with him could definitely be beneficial. I don't say clear Holmes from it, but having another guy like, for example, when Jonathan Loaizaga's right, or a guy like Tommy Kahnle when he's right, you got to have at least 2 guys that you can turn to ready to go in.
Yeah, and I love what Sean Browning said, Hector. I like Holmes, not as bad as Chapman, but I would like not to have to eat Tums every 9th inning. I hear you, bro. That's me too.
I hear you.
The agita kicks in, bro. It's so bad.
Halal, you won't have to worry about that for another 20 years when it comes to chest burn. And all right, you won't have to worry about that.
You have to put on your shoes before you tie them. And if you have the allocation of resources for Brian Cashman in the past is getting 6 guys that are making $10 million, and your offense stinks. So you gotta get your guys in. Listen, Clay Holmes can close in April. He can close in July. Do I want him closing in October? Maybe not. Maybe Jonathan Loaizaga is the guy. Maybe Ron Marinaccio is the guy. Maybe this, that, or the other thing. But if they, once the Juan Soto, I don't really know how to speak on this Juan Soto thing because I'm so superstitious. But if that happens, officially, they still need to add one more guy, because if you start thinking about how many games they're going to play at first base and third base, they're 2 injury-prone guys, and obviously Glaber and Volpe are going to be getting. They're going to play. Glaber will probably play 130. Volpe can play 150. He's a young guy. He can do it. Right. But the 2 old guys on the first and third base, they might. Let's say each of them plays 100. That would be great. Great. That's 200 innings, right? I mean, that's 200 games. And you need 320 of those games. So you still need to go get an infielder who can hit the baseball. And again, I think it should be at third base, probably, because DJ can also play first base, and you're ensuring another But if they're saying, hey, DJ is going to start at third base, I don't know. It seems like, okay, well, you have to have a backup plan. I'm afraid about these old dudes. But also you can trade for a guy for 1 year to help the corner infield. And if Rizzo gets hurt, what you can do is you can trade for a lefty bat, because that's the position. Aaron Judge plays right field. The other 2 outfield positions must be left fielders, because second, shortstop, and third baseman, they throw righty, they have to, and usually they bat righty. So I think that maybe a third first base lefty bat, like some kind of, Jeremy Giambi, rest in peace type of guy who gets on base. So you know what I mean? So that's really where I'm
Yeah,
at.
that's why when that Bregman stuff came out the other day, I was like, I wouldn't be mad at it. You know, I'm like, there's a, put him over there.
No, not at all. Not at all.
I was like, why the hell not? People were like, oh, no Bregman. I was like, what the hell? That'd be great over there at third.
Yeah, I mean, sure. I still have 100 Screw Houston shirts in my basement right now.
Same.
So I'm still mourning. Like
Yeah. I'll always be petty, Jimmy.
2019 was horrific.
Jimmy, to this day, Jimmy, whenever I walk down the street and see a metal trash can, I just kick that shit. I just kick it on the floor. I just kick it over every time I see a metal trash can.
Yeah, no, it really broke me. Like, and then it did. Even through everything, it really. So Alex Bregman, great player, cheater, a-hole.
Yeah. Dylan, when it comes to third base, I like the idea, and we put it up in the chat as well, about platooning, have that being a platooning between DJ LeMahieu, Oswald Peraza. We would still have Oswald Cabrera as well, who is versatile in the infield and the outfield. Jimmy's not a big fan of him, but it'd be a perfect scenario that you can have Peraza be your third baseman. DJ can back up and platoon at first base and third base. How do you think that would shake up when it comes to the platooning in the infield and the outfield?
Right. So like with Peraza, it's a little bit of a different scheme with me. I know it's going to be unpopular among Yankees fans. I'm not as high on Peraza as a lot of other fans are. And the reason is, yes, he's an exceptional defender from what I've seen. And he's had some stretches where he, has swung the bat well. But I feel like he's a little too inconsistent at the plate for me to really, just give him the everyday job right now. That's what I personally think. I don't think he's a bad player. I don't think he will be a bad player. I think, he can find a way to be a productive player in some capacity. I think to a degree he already has. But at the same time, can we really sit here and say that he's the go-to guy at the hot corner for a championship team? That's what I'm questioning myself. I don't really know if he's someone that I'm ready to just hand the keys off to at third base and say, all right, you're playing third base every day. I know third base last year was horrendous. LeMahieu was bad the first half of the year, and we had to deal with Josh Donaldson for, the first 4 months of the season. I get that was really bad, and in desperate times, maybe, you should have just thrown Peraza there because you didn't have any other options. I think they need to set the bar a little higher, though. They need to find some, if they're going to, I just don't think they should be playing Peraza there all the time. I feel like that's not really setting the bar high enough. I feel like you can find someone maybe through free agency or even in the trade market that can, be more productive on a consistent basis, because what happens if Peraza is not, productive all the time? You're kind of going, you're kind of shooting for the stars here, hoping that he pans out, but he might not. True. You know what I mean? He's still young. I understand that. And I know he's been kind of, trapped in AAA and they haven't given him the chances. I understand that. But in the times he has been up in the big leagues, other than, a couple times where he's had some, maybe like a week of, a good play at the plate or, a couple, obviously good defense as well. I haven't really seen much that's made me go like, yeah, he's the guy. He's our answer at third base. Like I'm still, that's still a question mark for me. I'm personally not fully sold on him. I know a lot of other Yankees fans last year, especially, were begging to see Peraza at third base and are still begging to see him play every day right now. And I understand that because I understand, the third base position was very, murky last year. Like I get that. But again, is he really the guy? Is he really the guy? That's what I want to know. And who knows? I could be totally wrong. He ends up playing next year and he ends up being great and he ends up being the guy. Fantastic. I would love to be proven wrong in that regard. But right now, if to answer that question right now, would I put him at third base on opening day? No, I would not. I wouldn't do it.
It's still a question mark and very, very well thought out answer. Hello, same thing going to you when it comes to third base. And we're going to start wrapping it up soon just because I know Dylan and Jimmy, they got certain time periods. And again, appreciate you fellas for rocking out with us. It's been an hour and a half. Dylan, I definitely appreciate you. Jimmy, we definitely got to do this again, brother.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really love this. Like I said, whatever you need when it comes to graphics, anything like that, you let me know. Celso know, would definitely help you out, brother.
Absolutely. That'd be a huge help because I'm realistically, like, I don't know the YouTube game at all. I can help on Twitter. I can help on Instagram.
Trust me, man. Me neither. I'm still new to it. I'm a Twitter guy.
I might know a guy. All right,
guy,
people call my people. We might work.
Yeah, that would be very helpful.
Yeah, whatever you need, Jimmy, you let me know.
Hillel has helped with episodes. Listen, like what I wanted to do with the Yankees universe is listen, there's a lot of competition out there and a lot of things that are called Yankees, but I want to bring people on that are Yankees fans, and I don't want to compete with them. I just want to, like, I felt like, you know, it just is what it is at that point. Like, you're going to spend 95 minutes talking about it. You're talking about it. It is what it is. So yeah, like but that would be a huge help, and I appreciate that. And yeah, Dylan, great insight. Hillel, you know, you're always doing a great job. And Hector, honestly, it's really nice meeting you. Like, you did a fantastic job with that. You were
appreciate you, bro.
Dude, that was cool. What you were doing is cool. And like, so I come from a little bit of old media where I work at, you know, I started at CBS Sports in 2015, and I'm doing graphics, but I'm more stats. I'm not building the actual graphics or any of that stuff. To see something come to fruition like that, and it's probably a couple clicks or whatever, but it was really cool, and I appreciate it and I like it. And yeah, I hope that every single one of you guys has 1 million followers, and I don't think there's a reason why a $7 billion company doesn't mean that why the Yankees can't have 100 Avengers and 4,000 of us in the fans stands every single, and people know each other because it's cool. Everything's cool.
Yeah.
Just
no,
for the people in the chat. First of all, I was trying to get the chat going because I don't know how to work it, but where the beasts at? Where are those beasts?
Yeah, hashtag beast mode in the chat. Hashtag beast media.
If you're a beast, because we recently came up with that because we were given information, and the information I give on the Twitter Spaces, I just want to say, it's a wild circus in there, but I would never, ever, ever lie about a source. But they get the most information on the Twitter Spaces, and I get nothing from it. I don't know. You guys are beasts. That they don't get it.
I appreciate you, Jimmy. And like I said, whatever you need, just reach out and we got you. My guy Ruben with the $10 super chat. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
He said Peraza went back to his original swing, and he did well towards the end of the season. Also, Yankees have not given him a real shot. Volpe got a chance to play while hitting 209. Peraza has been kind of screwed over. There's a nice little argument for that, but Halal, the floor is yours when it comes to the third base conversation before we start to wrap things up.
Yeah, look, I want to start with the aspect of, I assume Steinbrenner goes to Cashman before the offseason. Like, look, we got to get it done. Last season was terrible, and we really got to do it. I'm going to give you all the money you need. You're going to get attacked by injuries, but you got to do your job here and get the guys. I want Soto. I want Yamamoto. Get me other bats that fix it all up, and that's what we really need. I don't know if I have a little theory. I'm not sure who Andy Martino, what he's doing there, but it seems like he might be a puppet to somebody, leaking $300 million stuff. That's my little theory there. I'm not sure if this $300 million stuff is real or what's not, just to get Soto interested, that there might be an extension involved, but that's just a little something there. I think a side point here before I touch on Bregman is
they have suits on, so they know exactly what they're talking about all the time.
Yeah.
When it comes to Yamamoto, quickly, I just want to say this. I know I'm going off cuff here, but
no, go ahead.
It's really just Cole. We've gotten very lucky that he's been able to stay healthy on the field. I don't want that feeling that we had with Judge last year, that when he goes out, we are absolutely screwed. So if we get Yamamoto, if God forbid Cole goes down for a couple weeks with an injury, you have Yamamoto step in a bigger role, and it's not just the season's falling apart because he goes. That's insurance there. When it comes to Bregman, I'm curious. I'm very curious to see if the Soto, Yamamoto, Verdugo is what lasts the offseason, or maybe if they have something cooking with Bregman also. Because if they do, that would be absolutely insane. Trade with the Red Sox and the Astros in the same offseason would just be kind of funny, kind of crazy. But yeah, really enjoyed hopping on with all of you guys tonight. Really was enjoyable chatting some Yankees. Obviously, if either of you, Dylan, Jimmy, or Hector, obviously need my help, I'm always here to help out. Anyone in the chat who wants to reach out, starting the new channel, whatever it is, I'm at HillelKO on Twitter. So definitely for sure. Thank you guys so much.
I
Yeah,
love this live thing too. It just goes up. You don't have to edit it, right?
No, it's perfect. And what's perfect about StreamYard, I'll just let you know real quick, Jimmy, is that StreamYard, after you're done with going live, you go back into it. And it lets you clip out what you don't have to download the whole thing and cut up clips. It'll let you clip what you want to clip, and it'll direct it to YouTube, to Twitter, whatever you want. So I'll let you know about that like afterwards, Jimmy, in the back end.
I'm writing it down. You guys are a big
StreamYard. I love StreamYard. It's stupid proof, and I'm a stupid person, and it helps me out. So I'm very stupid proof over here. But no, appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. We got 50 people in the building. If you guys can, smack that like button. We are sitting on 85 likes at the moment. And like I said, we are at 1,833 subscribers, almost to our goal of 2K subs. We're trying to get next to Dylan and Fireside Yankee because they are killing it right now. Dylan, I'm going to just throw it over to you and then throw it over to Jimmy. Just let the people know where they can find you, where you and Ryan go live at, the times if you guys have set time. Also, let them know about Empire Sports Media because you guys do amazing work over there as well. Go ahead, brother.
Right. So, in terms of the live streams with Ryan, it's been a while since me and Ryan have been able to do a Yankees live stream, but he's still been cooking up some good stuff at Fireside Yankees. So if you want to go check him out, most of you guys probably know him, Ryan Garcia, ESM. You can check him out at Fireside Yankees. He does amazing work. He puts out articles on EmpireSportsMedia.com almost every single day, and also does all the live streams and the podcast. So, he's been fantastic. I've also occasionally been on the Fireside Yankees. It's been a while since I've been able to do a live stream or a podcast with them over there. But, we did do a lot of live streams during the regular season. So if you want some throwbacks and want to go watch the old live streams from the regular season, there's a good chunk of those on the YouTube page over there at Fireside Yankees. I do also do Fireside Knicks, though. I don't know how many Knicks fans are watching this, but if you want to check those out, I usually do the Fireside Knicks podcast with my brother, actually. We've been doing them almost every single game. We put out many podcasts a few times a week. We wanted to try some live streams out, but, we just haven't had the time to experiment with that yet, but we will eventually get to that as well. You can also find me on Twitter. It's literally just my name, Dylan Backer, so you can just search it up right there, and it'll take you right to my Twitter. And I'm also on EmpireSportsMedia.com. You can look up me on there, find all the articles I've written. I put out articles about the Yankees, Giants, and the Knicks almost every single day, so you can find that as well. And yeah, that's pretty much where you can find me. And it was really, really awesome to be on this panel with you guys. It's been a while since me and Hector and Celso have done some stuff on this channel, so really appreciate getting back on here with you two. It was awesome. And of course, Jimmy and Hillel have been great as well.
Dylan, whenever you need us, just throw up the bat signal and we will be there, brother, whenever you need us. All right. Jimmy, let the people in the chat know where they can find you. I already put the link to your channel, but let them know your Twitter and anything else, any other ventures that you're into right now. Just let the folks know where they can follow you and support you as well, Jim.
Sure. I work for the Man in Sports Media at various places. They don't need shout outs. They get plenty of advertisements. And I'm Jimmy Randazzo on Twitter. And YouTube, like Jimmy Randazzo Show on YouTube. Again, the Sports Show on Instagram, fire. But, as time goes on, the Jimmy Randazzo Show on YouTube is really where I'm pivoting. And it's been a slow transition, but sometimes you just can't. You want to confuse the fans. You don't confuse the fans. It is what it is. You want to add co-hosts. Don't, it's a new day every single day. And Jimmy Randazzo on Twitter. Where my beasts at? Where are my beasts?
Yeah. I think we've seen a few of them in the chat. Go ahead, Celso.
So my name is Celso. You can follow me.
I just tweeted it. They're in there. Or they're on the chat.
I felt left out, heck. But seriously, Dylan, everything you've had going on over the last couple months, man. So glad you're doing well.
Yes.
So glad we were able to reconnect, bro. I try to check in with you when I can. Yeah. So, that door is always open. Jimmy, we go from interacting on Twitter to having you on here with us today, man.
It's awesome to, have you guys reach out and have me come on here. I mean, it was awesome. I just wanted to add on that real quick.
Sorry.
My fault, Dylan. Go ahead. There was a little bit of a delay. Go ahead, Dylan.
No, you're good. There's that delay, so I understand how how it can be confusing. StreamYard has that delay. But I just wanted to add real quick. It was just awesome. You guys reaching out to me and having me come on here because as you allude to, I've had stuff go on. For most people who don't know, I might as well just put it out now. A couple months ago, I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes pretty suddenly as well, and kind of was a shock and pretty scary to deal with because I'm only 21 years old, so I didn't really know what to do, how to navigate with that going forward. But everyone who knew already and everyone who has seen my posts on social media and stuff have been very supportive and great. And honestly, it's been really, really a blessing because it hasn't been easy transitioning in the new lifestyle I've been forced to live, but everyone who has reached out and stuff, it's been amazing. And I don't want to make it all about that because at the end of the day, I come on here to talk about sports and not my medical history. But at the end of the day, I also don't mind being open about it because it is something I want to educate people on, especially because of just everything that happened. And you don't want to take each day for granted. That's one thing I just want to say.
Yeah.
Anything could happen, and for me, it happened suddenly, and a lot changed, but I'm still here, still cooking up content, still talking with you guys about baseball or basketball, whatever it could be. So it's really awesome to do.
Yeah,
I
listen,
I
Dylan
appreciate you.
people during the trade deadline too, because he has a really good point about that. A really good point about that.
Yeah. No, but Dylan, thank you for sharing that. We always here for you, my guy. It's all love. I myself dealing with my medical issues with my back and stuff, so I definitely get it. Things happen like that, and you can never expect when things happen. But Dylan, just know we here for you. Jimmy, I know you wanted to say one more thing before you wanted to dip out. Go ahead, brother.
No. Next episode of Jimmy Randazzo's show is dropping once the news is officially official. But I mean, listen, once I have the guests, I'm texting you, Hector, because what you did is you seem like you really got it going on, and just any of your help would be huge. Because I do like a kind of Joe Rogan-esque one-on-one, just like very one-on-one with someone I'm interested in, and 99.9% of the time I'm interested in Yankee fans. But 1% of the time, in August we did a fantasy football podcast and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I'll be in touch very shortly. And I appreciate you guys, and I appreciate the chat. I appreciate you guys too. Shout out to Lucas in the chat. You can borrow my Jeep sometimes.
And Hilal, before we go, I'm so glad you were able to hang out this week, man.
Yes,
the perfect
Hilal,
week for you to fake being sick from school. You're a smart kid. I love having you on the Morning Brew crew. Everybody knows that you are a part of the fam. There's a reason why you're here. You're the rookie. No one does it like you do, bro. So thank you, Hilal, for making time today. Now you need to hurry up and get off of here and go back to faking sick so you can stay out of school again tomorrow. All right? Thanks, Soto, for no announcement. Hilal gets an extra day off of school. There we go.
But like we said, appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you're drinking your water. Make sure you're staying hydrated. Make sure you're checking in on your mental health with your family and friends. Around this time of the year, it's a lot of bad things when it comes to mental health. So if you guys can, if your friends said they're doing fine, make sure you really check on them. Make sure everybody's health is good. I love and appreciate each and every one of you guys. But until next time, deuces. Deuces.